What's good people? So yeah, I gotta start this one by laughing. Why am I laughing? Because the UFC heavyweight division is being taken for a ride. What the hell is going on with Jon Jones? Why the hell do we have to deal with a Jon Jones? Ilia Topuria got stripped of his belt. Islam Makhachev got stripped of his belt because they were moving up and they did not want the division to be held up. Islam Makhachev, the dude who does everything the UFC wants, the dude who is currently the #1 pound for pound fighter, the dude who has 4 defenses in the lightweight division, gets stripped of his belt. But Jon Jones, almost a year of inactivity is still not enough. Jon Jones, who is now going to be the longest reigning heavyweight champion. I don't know what the stats is. I saw a weird ESPN stat that says Jon might be the longest reigning heavyweight champion with only 1 title defense against a 50-year-old Stipe Miocic. Mind you, I'm knocking things over because I'm upset. A 50-year-old Stipe Miocic, who Jon Jones years ago said he would not move up to fight because Stipe did not make money and Stipe was not worth his time. But when Stipe turned 50, Jones said, that's the legacy fight I want. That's the guy I want to beat. That's the guy because he's 50 years old. He can't move like he used to. His reflexes are not there. He hasn't fought in 3 years. His last fight was a knockout, a devastating almost. We thought Stipe was dead when Francis Ngannou knocked him out. That's the kind of knockout that Stipe incurred. And Jones was like, you know what? Stipe makes money. Stipe is worth my legacy. I want Stipe. I think all the conditions have been met for me to fight Stipe. He hasn't fought in 3 years? Check. He's much older? Check. He got devastatingly knocked out and concussed by Francis Ngannou? Check. Now he can get a check from me. That is the only reason Jon Jones. People forget this narrative that Jones didn't want to fight Stipe Miocic. How are we forgetting this? How are the Jones sexualists forgetting that Jones did not want to fight Stipe Miocic when Stipe was still running the heavyweight division and Jones was the light heavyweight champion? How are we forgetting this? But that's besides the point. Jones defeats Stipe Miocic and he's like, you know what? I'm not retiring. I still want to hold on to this belt. We're like, okay, maybe we're going to get Jones versus Aspinall. Instead, we get no indication, no signs that we will have this matchup. And mind you, I don't care if Jones fights again. I don't care if he gets in the octagon again. It'll be nice. It'll be appreciative. But we've seen Jones. We understand. Let's move on. Let's move to the next generation. Let's have a new star. The UFC is at a point where you can count its stars, its marquee stars on one hand. The stars who are left for the UFC, you can count on one hand. We got Ilia Topuria, Islam Makhachev, Alex Volkanovski. Who else? Give me a name. Khamzat Chimaev. I don't know. He has to become a champion for him to really take that next step. We don't have stars, but Tom Aspinall is at the cusp of becoming a bona fide star. The first heavyweight star we've had in the UFC since Brock Lesnar. If you really think about it, the UFC has not had a champion who had that aura and that star power since Brock Lesnar. And you can say, oh wait, Francis Ngannou was that dude. Well, Francis, to be fair, he was on his way to being that dude. He lost to Stipe. Dana started hating him, stopped promoting him as much. He got the belt. It was iffy. His pay-per-views were not selling as much. We love Francis, but let's not change history. Francis was not that star that you sit down and you're like, I have to watch him fight. The last time the heavyweight had someone like that was Brock Lesnar. A champion who put people in seats, a champion who people wanted to see, a blockbuster heavyweight, Brock Lesnar. Now we have the opportunity to turn Tom Aspinall into that. And to make it even better, Tom Aspinall is still a youngin. Tom Aspinall is bloody young. There's so much upside and potential for Tom Aspinall to take the UFC on his back and skyrocket. But the UFC is, for whatever reason, at the mercy of Jon Jones. What is it that the UFC feels so obliged or obligated to Jon Jones for? Why is it that Dana White all of a sudden loves Jon Jones, is endeared to Jon Jones? Jones gave Dana White headaches. Dana used to despise despised Jones, but now all of a sudden he's him. It's because the UFC has no marquee stars, and when Jones fights, at least they can charge, I don't know, $20,000 for a seat. They don't have a Conor McGregor, they don't have a Khabib, they don't have a GSP, they don't have a Ronda Rousey, these premium stars that, hey, if he's fighting, you gotta pay $20,000 to sit in the front row. They don't have that guy. It's only Jones. Maybe that's why. And maybe also because the UFC doesn't really make money from their pay-per-views, and most of the money comes from the gates because the pay-per-views are now ESPN's property. So they get money from the gates and they're like, okay, cool. As long as the gates are high, and Jon Jones is the king of gates right now, that's good. What the hell is going on with the UFC? We need to strip, well, I'm saying we as if I make the decision, but I'm a fan. I'm a passionate fan of the UFC. So yes, we need to strip the belt from Jon Jones and tell him, buddy, if you don't want to fight Aspinall, you are now the undisputed champion. Your one interim defense now counts as a ruby on your undisputed belt. And then we get who? I don't know, Cyril Gane versus Aspinall, and then Aspinall knocks him out, and then we start this reign proper. How is Aspinall's prime being wasted this much? Maybe Jones is really scared of Aspinall, or he wants to get Aspinall demotivated for the fight, so then when they eventually fight, he's absolutely mentally drained Aspinall, and Aspinall just doesn't want the fight anymore. And when they fight, maybe Jones has the mental edge. Maybe that's Jones' strategy, or maybe he wants Aspinall to get in there one more time so he can get more footage of him, more notes, can take more notes, notice his patterns and stuff. Because Jones was like, oh, I know the Aspinall versus Curtis Blades fight was only 30 seconds, but trust me, I've been studying footage for all my life, so that 30 seconds told me a lot about Aspinall than anything else. Curtis Blades is definitely winning the rematch. Boom, Aspinall knocks out Curtis Blades. What now, Jones? It's looking shaky, buddy. This dude ain't who you think he is. He's him. Aspinall is him. Let's stop wasting Aspinall's time because of old man Jones. The same Jones who only went up to heavyweight division after Francis left. The same Jones who decided to fight Cyril Gane because he knew Cyril Gane could not grapple, and he saw Francis Ngannou out-wrestle Cyril Gane to retain that belt. The same Jones that decided to fight Stipe Miocic years later because he knew Stipe is old, frail, and a shell of his former self. Let's not waste time because of that Jon Jones.